Maybe wait till the end.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
First off, we want to thank everybody for attending. We know it's an early morning. You're probably off to work and you're taking some time to listen to us chat. We want to thank the region for making this possible. This is a huge step. 71% of people do not set up marketing plans for themselves. So just the fact that you guys showed up today, you're light years ahead of most of the businesses in your community. So we're going to do a little bit of a round table here and just introduce you to who's chatting today. My name's Dan. I work with Snap Inc. We cover tons of community events. We have a design agency. We build websites. We have a new app that allows you to contribute content to the community. So we work with people all day long doing things like we're doing today, just teaching people how to identify the benefits of their business. And next we have
Robin Reynolds. I'm a chartered professional accountant. This is my 20th year in Canada. I immigrated 20 years ago. I love, my passion is helping self-employed entrepreneurs own and manage businesses. And I hope you can enjoy the information I prepared for you today.
Good morning, everyone.
Thank you, Robin.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Deborah Wilson, and I'm coming to talk to you today about sales and retention of sales. A lot of times people find sales scary. I'm going to take that fear away for you today and make it simple for you. I come from 22 years of sales experience in the corporate world and 11 as an entrepreneur. So I've got a bit of a base to work from. So I hope you enjoy this morning. Now, here's Paul.
Hi, my name is Paul LePage. I'm an IT business owner based in Newmarket, Ontario. I've, like you, started a business from possibly nothing. And we've been around for 9 years now and grown to 13 people and are serving customers across North America. So what I think I bring is we've done things sometimes the easy way by partnering with people like the people at this table, listening and learning. And some things we've also done the hard way. So I want to make sure that I can share with you some of the things that I've done right and some of the things I've done wrong. And that way we can all benefit.
Hi, I'm Azzy. I'm the mortgage broker of the group. I started out in computer engineering and have a degree. I then became self-employed and my husband runs that business of ours. And now I'm in the mortgage industry. I'm going to be speaking to you today about your credit and money management and your financial goals. So I'm looking forward to it.
Hi, I'm Miriam Golubgir, and I own Digital Marketing Experts. Our focus has always been helping small businesses and entrepreneurs to grow their business effectively online without breaking the bank, and using tools that are available and simplifying those tools for them. So today we're going to be talking about some of those tools and educating you and helping you grow your business as well. I started my business 7 years ago, and just like Paul, I started with nothing, and now there's 5 of us. So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna get started first. I'm gonna be talking about the tools that you will need in the marketing world to help you grow your business. So here's a tiny little bit of bio about me. I've been in the industry for about almost 16 years. This is my 16th year. I've been in the telecommunication, e-commerce, IPTV, and finance world. I understand online marketing on a different level. I take what everybody else is doing and spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and I break it down into, well, you don't have to spend $100,000 a year. How do we break down that amount down for you and meet your budget, but get the exact same results and goals for you? I believe in sustainable marketing strategies, and I believe in keeping everything local and growing our businesses locally. And for that to happen, we will provide you with social media marketing strategies, website development strategies, search engine optimization to make that website that you have work for you, and come up with online advertising strategies that don't break the bank, but are effective and get you on top of the pages for those particular clients that are your money makers. And we also provide video marketing because videos are huge, and we will give you the content and we'll show you how to use it to promote yourself. So just gonna get started and give you some tools. Let's start with some of the tools that we use on a day-to-day basis. And these are softwares that you can use to grow your business. So a lot of entrepreneurs, their business starts with one person, maximum 2. They may contract someone out to do certain things for them. But on a day-to-day basis, you need to be sending out presentations. You need to be sending out proposals and reports to your existing clients. And it's really hard to having to recreate different templates for different clients. Quirl is an incredible tool. So what it does is it allows you, we will be sending out this presentation at the end to you as well. So wherever you see that it's highlighted, that's the link. And you can click to it and it will take you to that particular website that we're talking about in this presentation, and you can actually take advantage of it. So the good thing about Quirl is that if you're sending out a sales proposal, if you're sending out a pitch, a graphic proposal, or let's say a report to a client of yours that you want them to see what you've done, you can use this particular software. It's easy to use. All you have to do is put in your text in there, add in a few images that you like. If you have a video that you want to show to your client as an example of something that you provide, you can put the link from YouTube directly into the proposal. And then it would create this beautiful online and a PDF version for you that you can download. A lot of people don't feel comfortable clicking on a link if you send them a link and say, look at this proposal. But with this software, you can download it as a PDF and customize it with your logo, with your contact information, give them a little beautiful quote section that gives them information about how much it will cost for them to work with you, and send it out to them. It costs, the cost of the plan starts from $12 and it goes up. I suggest going with a plain, simple package to start with, and it's a really cool tool to use. The next one, and this is what it would look like. So you will have a breakdown of every presentation that you've created. And on top, as you can see, you can pick how many people have looked at it. If you really like this one particular proposal and you want to clone it, you can go right ahead and do so. And by clicking on that particular top one and hitting the clone button. The next one is HootSuite. Some of you know what HootSuite is, and some don't, and that's okay. I'll explain what it is. HootSuite is a social media scheduling tool. To grow your business, you're trying to build a community. Building a community means that you need to have a group of people that follow you on Facebook, and a group of people that follow you on Instagram, and a group on Twitter. But there's only 8 hours in a day. You still have to manage the client that you have. You still have to get some content put together to post on social media. Well, what better way to manage all the content that you create but to use HootSuite and input all of your information and schedule your posts for the entire day, for the week, or month. The way it works is you input the URL to your particular social media account, and you add it as a stream or you add it as a social network. Then you go ahead and you put in the information that you want in there about who you are and what you do. And then ongoingly, you put your posts in there. So what I usually do is I put in all of my weekly posts on one day. And I schedule it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, post this particular post, and this one after that, and the one after that. And that way, I don't have to post ongoingly, but I have good content that I'm sharing. I'm on top of my social media, and I know, and I can measure how many people have looked at my social media information, and they haven't. And measuring is important because you want to know if what you're doing is making sense. The starting packages are about $29. They'll give you a free trial period of 30 days. But then after that, it's $29 per month, and it goes up to $599. Start with the free trial, and then go with the smaller package of the plain package. You don't need the big stuff. A lot of the times we are asked, I want to build a website. What would you recommend? What platform? I've heard of Wix, I've heard of Squarespace, I've heard of WordPress and Weebly. Which one would you recommend? They're all website builders. Back in the days, you had to pay someone thousands and thousands of dollars to code a website for you. Those days are gone. They're website builders that can do everything you want within seconds and hours. You can have a website up in an hour. And this website could be beautiful and have all the information that you need in there. But there's certain things that you need to keep in mind. What's important to you? Does it matter if your website is optimized by all search engines? Does it matter to you if it's easy to use? Does it matter to you if you can't fix something on your website, can the next person come in and make those changes that you need into your website? If these questions are answered and you know what are the importance of that particular platform that you're using, then here's a breakdown of what we usually recommend. We think WordPress is always rates 4.9 out of 5. And we are, by we, I mean everybody in the web development industry. The reason for that is because WordPress is written in PHP. It's easy to use. Setting it up is for free. You can set it up for free. And the templates, you can find cheap templates and expensive templates, but they're all easy to assemble and put together. And they're optimizable. Google loves WordPress templates. The next one is Weebly. It rates 4.8 out of 5. It's a simple tool to use, but what I love about this one is that it's written in a language called HTML, and it's very easy to make changes in the back end. And if you can't do it, you can call up a programmer, and it won't cost them a lot of money to go in and make changes to it. Squarespace is another one that's really good. It rates 4.2 out of 5. It's very design savvy. It's very pretty. Not as easily, it's not as easy to work on the back end. It's a little expensive, but it's very pretty. Wix is for all sorts of small businesses and side projects, but it's not optimizable. Google doesn't recognize the pages, and it's just the project that you have. Let's say, you know, you have a wedding show that you're going to, and you want to promote your booth in there, and you just want to have a one-pager up. It's a really cool tool to use. So here's a breakdown of what they would look like. So if you see these icons, that's what that particular language is. We're going to give you this presentation, so I think it's best to always look at it and understand it.
Spencer joined the meeting.
See waiting room? Oh,
Admit.
has entered. Okay, so we're good.
Was admit just
Oh, admit him? I'm sorry. Here we go. My apologies.
Of course,
Spencer, you're
Spencer.
in. Sorry, Spencer, you're in. Okay, so the next tool is Trello. I love Trello, and we use it religiously every day in the office. So there's 5 of us, but every one of us do something different. We need to be able to manage the content and the information and the client and the money part and the actual work that needs to get done. So in order for all of that to work, we need to collaborate and always be on top of everything. So we have this management tool called Trello. And we also use it as an editorial calendar. So we put information in there that needs to be posted on social media. So we know that all of February, all of our content that needs to go in there is in there. So the next person that's doing the post, all they have to do is click on the calendar, take all that information and import it into a HootSuite, and it will be scheduled and posted out. For us, it's all about making it easy for my team, because my team is all about providing top client care. They don't have time to worry about, you know, managing that project. That they want to make sure that the job is done properly. So this tool is amazing. You can get it as like a mobile app. You can have it on your laptop or your tablet, and you can manage all the tasks around, and you can see what your team members are working on and rate it. So you can see if someone's, there's different color rating for it as well. So if someone's in the middle of finishing a project, or if it's about to be done, or it's in the progress, you can see the colors so you know what level they're at. It's a really cool tool, and the back end of it is written in Kanban, which is a system used by Toyota, and it's extremely flexible. And you can add individuals that are not on the project into it as well. There's a free package. Use the free package. We've been doing this for 2 years. We've been using it for 2 years. We haven't had the need to upgrade into the enterprise. The enterprise is for having multiple offices and hundreds of people using your Trello system. It's a free tool. Google Analytics, this is a very important tool to me. Every website we create, first thing we say to the client is you need to build Google Analytics in there. And the reason we suggest that is because Google Analytics, excuse me, tracks everything that happens on your website. You know who's coming in, you know how long they're staying on your website, you know which pages they've looked at, you know which buttons they've clicked in, you know where their mouse has hovered over, you know if they've gone to the first page, which are the pages they've gone to after, how many times they landed into a form and they clicked on it, how many times they put something in a shopping cart and they didn't buy. These information are vital to the survival of your business, because then you know what you need to be doing with your website. Then you know if you put an advertising on Facebook, did it give you results on your website? Because it would show you that information. It shows the traffic that comes from your social media. It shows the traffic that comes from other channels. So having Google Analytics on your website is super important. It's a free tool. You don't have to do anything with it. And all of the website builder sites I told you about, they all have a section on the back, on the setting portion that allows you to put in the code from your Google Analytics. And this is the best favor you can do to your business by setting it up right away. And this is what it would look like when you log into Google Analytics. You can see everything you need to know. You would see how many people have come to your website organically. You see how many people have come in through social, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and so forth. How many people have come in directly by putting the URL of your website, and how many were referred. So let's say if I have Dan on my website, Dan's website on my website, and I have Robin's website on my website, did they bring clients from their websites to mine? And that's very important because a lot of the times we create partnerships online and we want to know if it's working. And if it's working, should we nurture that partnership further? Now, I love Amazon, and not because I'm a shopaholic, which I am. I am a shopaholic, but I absolutely love Amazon because they're the proverbial 800-pound gorilla on the consumer retail. That's it. There is no one bigger than them. You get, on average, about 6 million individuals that shop on a daily basis on Amazon. 6 million worldwide, that is. So why not have, and if it's already there and it has the customer base in there, why not use it to build your business and grow your business and sell your products on there? Obviously, it won't work for service companies, but if you have a product, take advantage of Amazon. It may look expensive, but if you look at it in the long term, having a website and having your products on the website is a great thing. I would highly recommend it. But having another channel that can sell your products ongoingly is a great idea. Because you have no access, you don't have an access to 6 million people. You don't know 6 million people. But Google has access to 6 million people, and they know 6 million people. And they're going to come in and buy your products. So set up a channel on Amazon if you can. It's a great tool. They have a lot of tools that allows you to boost your product's visibility. You can sponsor certain products that you like based on keyword targeting. You can use your fulfillment with Amazon. If you have an e-commerce website set up, you can link it to your Amazon account and do your shipment and fulfillment through your Amazon account. So that you just took away a massive portion of work that needed to be done to create a fulfillment to your website through your Amazon account. So highly recommended. It's a great tool, and they're constantly improving it and making it easier. You can manage your products from your phone, from your own existing Amazon account. You can send your products through the Prime service that they have, and you sell more products and more profitable it is for you. The prices may vary depending on your account and how much you want to sell. The next thing I want to talk about is Shopify. I love Shopify. It's the best tool out there if you have an e-commerce platform that you want to sell through. It is the best tool. There's nothing else beside that. And the reason I say that is because Shopify spends over $2 million a year just improving their e-commerce platforms. And no other platform out there, no other website builder platform out there does the same thing. Their online stores have hundreds of built-in features and built-in apps and features, and they're incredible. We have clients that went from selling one product valued at $200 to selling 250,000 units of that product, and they were able to sell their companies for over millions of dollars. It's a great tool. Big brands use them. There's a reason why big brands use them, and they have these amazing tools that allows you to sell through Instagram, and it allows you to sell through Pinterest. So if you have a Shopify account, you can sell your products through Instagram and Pinterest. It's really important, and it's secure. You don't have to worry about someone hacking into your Shopify account because they have spent their advertising dollars into the security of your website. And Paul's going to talk about how important it is for your website to be secure as well. So they already have done that. And they have a free for standard, the standard version is for free, and then you can build on that and grow your business online.
So do they make money by taking like a small percentage of your sale, or how do they?
So every app you have to pay for the apps. So you pay, I think, anywhere between $1.99 to like $200 per app that you're putting in there. There's some free apps as well.
Like app as in the features
Yes.
in their system.
And some templates you have to pay for, but they have standard templates that are like super plain,
Right.
but it's for free and you can set yourself up. But in order for you to be able to sell, you're gonna need some of those templates as well. But it's affordable, it works, and it has built-in measuring tools that you can see how well it works. This is super important. A lot of us we need to get paid for the work that we do. We need to get paid for the product that we sell. And a lot of us use PayPal, Square, and Stripe. And I get asked all the time, which one is better? And I always say, don't ask me, ask an accountant, because the accountant will tell you which one is better. But they're all good. They all do what they need to do. So Stripe is an online payment system that is fit for high-tech business to consumer and e-commerce companies. PayPal offers online checkout services. They're great for invoicing, in-person payments, and best for e-commerce companies of any size. Square offers a POS system, and you can put it at your store level, and you can have it online as well. And it has an online checkout experience, and they're all the same. Now, it's all about what your customer prefers and what your accountant prefers. But I highly recommend to do, before you figure out which payment system you want to put into your website, to find out if it's compatible to the template that you're using, and B, to figure out if you can do a survey out with your potential clients and be like, which one would you prefer to shop from if I have either Stripe, Square, or PayPal in my account? It's a good marketing strategy if you think about it. You've got them involved in a tool that you're adding into your website. They have a say into what you think, and you're hearing feedback from people that are online shoppers, and they can tell you what they think is good and it isn't, and the experience that they have. So it's a win-win on your end, but speak to your accountant, and your accountant will be able to tell you which one saves you more money at the end of the day. So I'm going to pass this over to Dan, and Dan is going to take over and talk about media.
Yeah, hi. I looked up and I saw my picture in it. I was like, whoa, I didn't think I wore that shirt. Yeah, when we're talking about all these tools and everybody's got all these great tips, what we first have to do is make sure we understand.
You need the mouse.
I need the mouse.
I need to get it.
You don't need to read this stuff about me. We need to understand first and foremost who you are, and this is a big mistake some people make. They get out there, they're trying to market themselves, and they haven't even gone through the fundamentals of who it is they are. So what I'm going to do for the next 15 minutes or so is we're going to look at a personal audit. We're going to get through some questions for you guys that teaches you, like, who am I? What's my benefit to the community? What value do I give to my customers? We're going to learn some tools that you can use. Obviously, we're learning a lot of intricate tools, technological tools, accounting tools, and the like. But what I'm talking about specifically is learning about who you are and getting that message out to the community. So we'll learn some specific tools there. We're going to learn how to use them and when to use them, what solutions they can actually fix for us, and then finally, how do I implement all these things at a reasonable pace without giving me a heart attack? Because quite often these things can be a little bit overwhelming. So the first thing, which is actually quite unique, is you're already an expert at all this stuff. The average person probably has between 80 and 110 different interactions where they're choosing to buy either through a relationship, like I like this person, I trust this person, I'm gonna answer this call, I'm not gonna answer this call, I'm gonna buy, so, Miriam's gonna shop, she's probably shopping right now. Hands on the table so we can see her on that. So we're constantly doing these things. You're gonna go out to a restaurant, you're gonna get some at Walmart for some shoes for your kids. I don't know, does Walmart sell shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
So I'm gonna give you an example. You and your significant other go down to Main Street and you go for some food, and the next day your friend phones you and says, hey, how was last night? You say, awesome. I went downtown, it was amazing. I went to this new place, it's a Hungarian place. We had a really lovely time. The server was amazing. They gave me this dish. The drinks were unique, blah, 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 blah. In that sentence, you hold the key to that restaurateur's entire benefits, features, their entire brand mentality is encased in what you just said. So after you said the word awesome, comma, you started listing off what they call features. You round up every key point of difference that makes them a better restaurant than their competitor. And so the first thing I implore you all to do is go talk to the people that you're working with now or that you plan on working with now that like you and that are already what we're going to introduce to you called raving fans. You want to make sure, why the hell do they like you in the first place? And make note of those things, because everything we're all talking about, you have to flip around and listen to your customer, your user. We used to call it, loyal customer, but we need a raving fan base that everybody that interacts with us walks away not just happy with the service, but bragging about it and telling everyone else about it. And I don't care if it's a restaurant that you own and you just need to sell more beer, or you're Brafasco and you need to sell nuts and bolts. There's some kind of personal connection there that you can have with every person you're interacting with, that you need them to walk out with an amazing experience. So the second portion, we call it marketer's amnesia. Marketer's amnesia is that horrible thing that we all suffer from, which means I might be able to list off the 10 great points about that restaurant I went to. Is there a screen here? Because I think I just flung spit at the camera. I'm going to do a tennis racket. So with the problem with marketer's amnesia, I can tell that about the restaurant. I can tell all my friends all these amazing features about this restaurant. But when I look at my own self, I can't do that. The reason is because I'm immersed in a lot of this other crap I got to deal with. I got to deal with hiring, firing. I got to deal with my landlord. I got to shovel the steps and make sure nobody breaks their ankle and sues me. I got to buy product and sell. There's a myriad of things that you have to do that sometimes steer you away from your main objective, which is how do I help people's lives and how do I tell people about that? The most interesting fact is that when my friend asked me, hey, how was your night? And I said, awesome, it did all these things. The word awesome there is a key. It's the benefit of what you felt when you went and had that experience at the restaurant. And quite often, we're not cognitively understanding what we felt because it's a feeling. We don't sit there and write all the evidence down. So while I might tell my friends it had ample parking, I didn't have to wait around, it had all these unique drinks, their beer menu was, you can see I have a one-track mind with what I'm talking about. The menu was great, yada, yada, yada. The service was excellent. Again, those are features that differentiate one restaurant from another. But how do I entice people to want to go out to a restaurant in the first place? That's where your benefit, the underlying benefit of your business needs to be broadcast in every message you do, every social media post. As soon as you get on your landing page on your website, you have to see the benefit right away. Your business cards, your emails, your messaging, even the way you and your employees talk at a cocktail party, you have to push your benefit. And the benefit is, after I interact with somebody, how did I make their lives better? And sometimes it's very pie in the sky kind of hokey, but in that instance, when I would say, well, Miriam, why was it awesome? What was so awesome about it? The parking was awesome, that changed your life. You would say, no,
it was the goulash.
The goulash, yeah. Well, it's because, you know what? I have a busy life. I never get out anymore. Me and my husband or my partner, we went down. We sat in this place. You wouldn't even have known we were in Newmarket. It felt like I was in Hungary. It was very, very unique. I felt like I had a vacation. Bingo. Okay, well, why do you need a vacation? Because I'm freaking busy and I need a break. Boom. That's what this restaurant offered these people. One of the benefits is they give you a break and you don't have to spend the money on a vacation. They give you a little tiny bit of life back because you're so busy as a parent and an entrepreneur and such. What are some other things? Well, you know what? Me and my wife, we sat down and had a drink and people were so courteous. There was some nice music playing in the background, but it was about the time we spent together. I just looked in your eyes there for a second. And we had this time together.
Yeah, that was so
a little weird glimmer there. So everything you do, you got to know your features and your benefits. They're kind of close cousins of one another. But this is what my first point is that you guys are experts at this already. You can help a lot of your friends that own businesses. So go to them and ask them what it is that you do for them. I make a note, beware of the vultures out there. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to quote unquote try to partner with you. But really what they're doing is working harder to sell their services to you and shove them down your throat. Instead of actually working with you, asking those questions, strategizing with you, and then helping you sell your stuff to those people out there. So we're going to go through a quick couple of questions that will help you with a diagnostic check. We can't possibly do this in 15 minutes, but as we said, we're all available if ever you want to, have an ear to bounce some ideas off of. And then we're going to assess some of those tools. So number one goal is to make money. We got to make money, make donations, sell more tickets, whatever it is that you got to do. We got to build a raving fan base so that everybody that interacts with your brand absolutely loves you. They will never move if you increase your price or what they say is in the old days, loyal customer was, your best friend. They come in, you're a barber and they cut your hair. They're always coming in. As soon as another barber moves in closer to that person, they might switch because it's a less of a commute. Or as soon as you increase your prices or you find a barber that does the same job for less prices, you will switch. So the terminology came out in the 90s, raving fan, where it was about your likability. People want to do business with people they like. So you need to not just market your services and products, you've got to market yourself as well. We'll get into that in a second. Become the thought leader in your industry. It's just a fancy term they use now for expert. And why do you want to be an expert in the industry? Because it makes you look smart. It takes intimidation out of your business when you're interacting with somebody. So if I'm talking to Miriam about some of the stuff she just talked to, some of it I'm like, oh my gosh, I need an expert to do that stuff. I have to trust that she knows what she's talking about. Or it could be a mechanic, for example. Oh, sorry. It could be a mechanic. My mechanic gabs on about my manifold and all this stuff. I have no clue what he's talking about. I leave feeling stupid, and I could use a little bit of information. It doesn't mean that when he hands that information over, I'm going to get under the hood of my car and fix it. But I walk away a little bit more educated. I respect what he is doing, and so I'm not afraid to say, yeah, I don't want to do that. Here's my money. So it's a very smart thing to position yourself in the community as an expert in your field. And finally, retaining employees. You want to make sure that all the people that work for you are happy. So let them in on all this stuff that we're going to be talking about right now. Make sure that the guy that's washing dishes in the back of your Hungarian restaurant, when people say, what do you do for a living? And he says, I just wash dishes. Make sure he says, for a thing that helps change your life, that makes you feel like you're on a vacation. Make sure that they understand the whole philosophy behind your brand. And my last point there actually is just evolve. Set times in your schedule where you're going to actually reassess, are these plans working? Because our main point is that we have to build strategy. So whenever you think up an idea, whenever you work on a plan, and I learned this back, I went to film school a bazillion years ago, and arbitrarily you throw in characters or jokes or whatever into your script. And the teacher always said, don't put it in there unless it pushes the story forward. And that's something that sunk in with me with this. So you might have a bazillion ideas how to grow your business, but make sure that does it push your benefit? Does it continually push your features? So that once you've told somebody, hey, you need to use my service, then you say, I'm the best one that does this service. The little target you see on the slide here is the general mistake most people make when they're trying to market themselves. They say things like, I have a coffee cup, and hey, here's this coffee cup. It's amazing. It keeps the temperature of the coffee up. You got a handle here. You drink it, blah, blah, blah. You should buy one of these things. This is how it works. You need it. It's the wrong way to market yourself. You need to roll that inside out and start from the user's perspective or your client's perspective. So every time you make a post, every time you put up a bulletin board, every time you send an email, start it from what they want. So I can say the exact same thing like this. Hey, are you completely sick of going to have your cup of coffee, and because you answered 85 emails, it's freezing cold. Well, we need something that holds that coffee, that has temperature resistance and blah, blah, blah. I'm not a scientist. Oh, by the way, I have that product. This is what's going to solve your problem. It's taking the exact same 3 steps that you're getting into someone's face, but you're flipping them around, because you know what? I don't care about your freaking coffee cup. I don't care about it, but I do care about me drinking cold coffee and it's irritating. So start with me, and now I'll listen to your description on a solution to my problem, and then the thing that I can buy that helps me figure that out. Too many people watch. They're very arrogant. You can't help it. It's that marketer's amnesia thing. I gotta sell coffee cups. I gotta sell coffee cups. So all your marketing says this is the best coffee cup in the world. But if I haven't understood that I need a coffee cup, if I haven't understood the benefit of owning a coffee cup, then it's irrelevant. So when you sell something like karate, a martial arts service, you can't start by going karate, 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 because it's intimidating. I might have a preconceived notion about what karate is, so I'm not going to listen to the next few points. I'm going to change the channel. However, if you say things like, are you sick of not having confidence? Are you feeling anxiety? Your bones hurt when you pick up your kids? There is a solution that you might not be thinking of, and then you move into the karate spiel. So be wary of that when you or beware of that. Oh, sorry, I want to do photos here. I
Too far.
Go back. Previous. Where's that?
Just roll up.
Oh, sorry. I'm not a tech guy.
Yeah.
All right, so these are the questions. I'm a tech expert, so don't even laugh at me. So these 6 questions are what we do to start you off. What are your benefits? We just went through that. How do you better your customers' lives? Grab a pen and paper, start making notes. What are your features? Once I know why I need karate, for example, or that restaurant, why is this the best karate school to go to? And that can be everything from amazing service, and I've won awards, all the way down the line to they have more parking than the place down the street. So there's a user experience that's going to be more satisfying for me. What elements of your business do you have that you could teach the community? I actually just shared a post this morning on my Facebook. I can't believe I did it you're the engineer, right? You were a former engineer. It was amazing. It was a car guy sent out content that was about how a drive shaft works or something. And he built it slowly and slowly. It was the most seemingly boring topic in the world. And I was fascinated by this video. He went through how whatever, I won't go through it, but I was so fascinated by it. And here, the guy that posted it didn't make the video. Okay, he curated that content. He went and found it. He sifted through a bunch of crappy videos and found this one nugget that kept me awake for 30 seconds. And I was like, oh, that's super cool. So this guy gets the credit even though he didn't sit there and make the film. It's kind of not fair for me. Pardon? Yeah, he's a thought leader. Yes, Rob. And then, do you have raving fans already? If so, let's talk to them. Find out what they like. Find out what they like. Ask the people at your front desk what kind of questions they get. Some of this information it's gold, and you sometimes ignore those people. It's the receptionist, and he doesn't, matter. But he holds the keys to all the stupid questions that everybody's asking that they want to know. Why? Because you take those things, put them right on your landing page, answer all those questions, make your system more efficient. Events. So at Snap, we're big event people. We share events, we take pictures, we let you use an app to take pictures, do all this stuff. There's a reason, because people like to work with people that they like. They like people that contribute to the community. We actually did a survey that said 82% of people will give your business money if they know, they'll be your customer if they know that you support an organization in the community. That is huge. And then a simple one, don't be afraid of pitfalls and obstacles. Write them down. If you went to a psychiatrist and didn't tell them all your dark and dirty secrets, they're not going to fix those dark and dirty secrets. So, the guy that owned the business before me was a complete jerk, and everybody hated him, so nobody comes to my restaurant anymore. That's something that your marketing team needs to know, so they can fix it. So I'm going to quickly go through these. These are 8 things to keep an eye on. We can call them tools. So once you've worked through what your benefits and features are, you've connected to something in the community, whether it's something you already do, it doesn't have to be related to your business necessarily. You might be a coach, you might be in a band, something that connects you outside that makes you look like a real person instead of somebody that's always trying to shove your business down other people's throats. It just helps with improve your likability for some people. Now, events is the first one. I just went through that. It puts a personality behind your business. It shows that you do other things other than sit in the office all day. That could be as simple as I hired a co-op student. Here he or she is. Take pictures of that co-op student, welcome them back to work. It just shows that you're that type of person. It could be bragging about birthdays that are happening in the office, all the way to, hey, I donate food to the food pantry, or I set up a golf tournament for the bereaved families of York Region. Whatever it is, find those excuses to show who you are in the community, and find access points to brag about those things. Social media, email lists, just in general, stuff like Snap or your local media, your Chamber of Commerce. Content marketing is big, where events talk about you and your personality. Content marketing talks about your expertise. So I want to show that I'm an amazing mechanic or an amazing chef. So it's very helpful to have quick little, infographics, a newsletter that isn't swarmed with text, but just photos or a link to a video that shows 20, 30 seconds of your expertise. That's gonna benefit my life, meaning I'm a horrible cook, and here's Dave from the Goulash House in Newmarket, and he's going to walk through the spice rack and teach you, hey, you know that 1970s spice rack on your mom's wall that never gets used and it's like a brick and you try to shake the garlic salt out? Well, there's 9 spices here that do different things. Here's what they do. So these might seem silly, but they're very good little snippets that you can hand over the community, that they will start to learn that you're the expert in food, or you're the expert in auto mechanics, or whatever it is. But just don't get too arrogant and inundate people with this stuff like 80 videos a day, or you just get irritating. Social media, the 2 major points. One, obviously we're always trying to think of some miracle post that we lob into the abyss and go, oh, let's hope for validation. We want everybody to love it and think we're geniuses at whatever it is we do. And that is something you have to do. That's one of the vehicles to get your content marketing message out there. But also take into account why social media is in existence in the first place, to be social. So we call this pull marketing. You'd be better off if you couldn't think of a miracle solution to spend 15 minutes or hire someone to spend 15 minutes on your social media pages to like all the other people's stuff. Because I might go, oh, I made this amazing post on whatever, using spices for this recipe. However, I have all these friends here who say, oh, my daughter just got engaged, and my kid just scored his first goal in soccer. These are the things that I could write as a business. Oh my God, Azzy, that's so amazing. Congratulations. I will go from 0%, maybe negative percent at this point, up to 85%. She'll be like, I always knew there was something about that guy. Like, simply because I validated what she loved in her life. And that's easy. Just be a nice person. Yeah. Just go on and I'm not saying lie, like, oh, I hate this son of a, and then just say nice things. Don't be afraid to use your business and be yourself. Be social, like people, share things, comment, and automatically you build tighter and way more enriching relationships with the people you already know. Miriam already mentioned video is a huge thing now. So there's things out there like augmented reality. You can embed videos into your newsletters, social media, obviously. It brings out the emotive qualities of who you are. Instead of just being this static picture or text or a graphic or an ad, add some life to it. Show people you're a nice person. Some simple stuff, graphic design, branding, and your website, they all need to be the same thing. If they don't look professional, people will potentially unfairly judge you that way. I know people that own businesses who haven't invested in a good logo and it looks like crap. And I know that people go onto their website and wince and say, I don't have the confidence in these people to hand them my money, because they don't even have the confidence in themselves to make their brand look slick and professional. So the website, in a nutshell, if you're doing your own website or you're using someone like Miriam or myself or whoever to do your website, you need to go through all that stuff we just talked about, your benefits, your features, who are you talking to, ask the receptionist in the front hall how many questions, what are the most popular questions, and that's your landing page in a nutshell. So we could get into deeper conversations on websites, but your website needs to make sure as soon as I get to it within 3 seconds, it pushes the benefit. I know exactly I'm in the right place. And then I got to know really quickly, where do I go to get my question answered with as few clicks as possible? That's a whole other discussion, but we have to make sure that your website is tip top. It is the most important tool that you've got because it works when you're not. When you're sleeping, there are people out there clicking keywords, and you got to make sure you pop up in the food chain. The last two are fairly simple. Location and employee advocacy. Look, location means after you've gone through all of this stuff that we just talked about, you've got it all set up, make sure that when people walk through your front doors, like let's say the karate dojo, that it embodies what your website does. It embodies what your benefits are. That you don't walk in and all of a sudden it's really intimidating. It's got trophies and stuff everywhere, and I'm scared to be in there. When your business objective is to make sure people understand it's a safe place for anxiety and building confidence and it's teamwork and all that. So just make sure your physical space adheres to that. And the last point, employee advocacy. So many people have just the important people at their office know all these secrets to their brand. You should let everybody know. One, it empowers them to feel like they're a part of things. It makes them more intelligent. So even if this job for them is a stepping stone, that at least when they're talking to people, they're sharing with them, I'm a part of this amazing IT team that solves problems every day. Blah, blah. It empowers them and helps spread the news about who you are. So there's a lot of talking, I know, but in a nutshell, that's kind of what you have to start writing down and figuring out. I think that's my last slide.
Yeah.
Hang on. Before you leave, that's like an exhaustive list, and these people are starting new businesses. If they could only pick one from that list, if you go back, what would it be?
If you could only pick one thing to start on here, and I'm going to cheat by saying one sort of free thing, and because one might be glued to money. Website is the most important thing that you need to make sure of. Ironically, in order to have a good website, you have to do all the other things. So maybe that's a bad example, but the first step that I always tell everybody to do is get engaged in your community. Because if you have $0 and zero know-how, and it's going to take 2 months to get your website or your branding material, all that stuff done, figure out the logistics of how I manage everything, just get off your butt, get out there, pick something you care about, and do it. You meet people that way. You can, at least through conversation, tell people what your goals are, and it just gets you out from behind the desk. So I would say connecting to your community would be the most important thing.
I think that's good advice.
Great. Thank you, Jeff.
I appreciate it. So Paul, over to you, buddy.
All right. So I do want to add a couple things to what you said, because I thought you had some really good ideas there. One of them is you're talking about communicating and getting people aware, and you've got this fan base, and those fans are eager to help you out, but sometimes you need to remind them. So one of the things is like Google reviews, and Miriam's a big advocate of Google reviews, is don't be afraid to ask those people that you're dealing with to maybe, hey, you know what, did you like my service today?
Yeah, so
while they are in spot, do you mind giving me a review on my Google site? And I'll tell you right now, Foundation BTS is doing a terrible job of that. But having said that, it's something one of our goals for 2020, and that's the thing. So the other thing that I think makes sense is, and we're all sitting in a room of professionals that we all like, and we have contrasting strengths. So as an example, in my own business, I was having a really hard time hiring the right people. But what I did is I found an HR consultant whose name is Everett. Everett, if you're out there, hey, how you doing? And Everett has really made my hiring process a lot more successful. And going back to your point, retention is now much greater. And that's the thing is like a lot of the things that we did incorrectly, which I'm now going to tell you, don't do what I did, kids, do what I say. Looking at someone like Robin, Robin, there's a million accountants out there. There's a lot of bookkeeping services out there, and you can find somebody that complements your strengths, that does want to work with you, that can make accounting and the things that I'm not strong at somewhere where I can get have success. And I guess if I was going to say another thing, and going back to Dan again, he talked about there was something about accounting in there and money. And really, you should, if one of your goals in running your business is to actually make money, make sure it's on your list for your vision, because you can go, I want to have the best service. I want to have the greatest staff. I want to have a ping pong table in my boardroom. Okay, those are all great things to want, but where's the bottom line in that? So those are things I'd like to add to your comments, and I think
Yeah, that's great.
yeah. So now about me. So Foundation BTS and me, I've been the owner of Foundation BTS since 2011. I started it from nothing. I was an IT manager for a heavy civil construction company before that. And I went from being an employee there to asking the president if I could cut my salary in half. And he said gratefully, yes, you can do that. What are the terms of that? And I said, well, I want to start my own business, and I'd like you to be my first customer. And from there, we've grown slowly and steadily. Sometimes it was one step forward, 2 steps back, or 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But here we are today. We have a reputation for being friendly. And you talk about you're awesome. And going back to that,
Right.
and that's actually, you changed what I was going to say. So our awesome is that people always answer the phone. We're always super friendly and knowledgeable, and we get it done. So yeah, so I'm happy where we are. I'm happy about where we're going, and I'm very excited for the next 10 years. So, okay, so on to what I want to talk about. Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, were you going to move this for me? Okay. So another thing is I think companies, especially new companies, they need to watch their money, but they also need to not be afraid to spend money where it counts. And so you got to have the right technology tools at your disposal. And one of them, I think, is, there's a lot of products out there, and I'm going to just jump ahead for a second. So there's Open Office, and a lot of new businesses will go, hey, I've heard there's Open Office and it's free. Should I get that? Well, my answer is, this is one of those things where you want to spend money where it makes sense. And what I've seen is like 97.5% of the office productivity software using community is using Microsoft Office. And actually, even this presentation that we're working with today, which has been a great tool for all of us, and it's been very collaborative, is a G Suite tool. And it's, what's it called? Slides?
It's presentation.
Presentation. And this tool is great, but having said that, if you're going to be doing business and you're collaborating with large teams and you're actually sending documents back and forth between external partners, then it just makes sense to use Microsoft Office. If you send somebody a Word document and then they open it in Open Office, or if you send them an Open Office document and they open it in their side, it's going to change some of the formatting. You're going to have unexpected problems. And so I just want to make sure that everybody recognizes that this tool is fantastic for a ton of reasons, and it's not very expensive. So Office 365, the business premium suite, costs a user $16 per employee, would be $16 a month. And for that $16 a month, you're getting the Microsoft Office applications that everybody's used to. You get a mailbox with 50 gigabytes of storage. That mailbox is not just a mailbox, but it also synchronizes your email, your contacts, and your calendars on all devices, and up to 5 devices you can install that on. You get a terabyte of personal storage that you can keep in the cloud. You get a terabyte of shared storage that you can use with your team, and as your company grows.
So the SharePoint is amazing.
Yes, yes.
Because that's what I use in my business.
Right, and that's evolving every single day.
And if I had to use what the other accountants are using, it would cost me thousands of dollars.
Right.
And I'm getting it within the package I already have.
Yeah, and so what Robin's talking about is back 14 years ago, as recently as yesterday, a lot of larger companies needed an in-house file server, and that server would cost you several $1,000s to keep your files in your building, and then you'd also have to back it up, and then that would be another charge. And SharePoint allows you to do that for much less. So a server today with the terabyte of storage is at least $1,000, probably $2,000 to $3,000. And so you can get away from that for $16 a month. That's pretty good.
It's very powerful.
So I already talked a little bit about the Office 365 mailbox and the benefits of that. Microsoft is doing a very good job of making this tool available to people. They're doing a really good job of spam protection. You can configure the spam protection yourself, so you can actually block emails from basically anywhere outside of North America if you like. But having said that, we've got customers that get email from around the world, and we're configuring that on their behalf. And then the other benefit is you're starting off in the right fit from your branding and going back to Dan. You're not going to have yourbiz@gmail.com. You can have, Paul at Foundation BTS or something like that, which is going to represent you a little bit better.
Do that using this?
Yeah, exactly. And so you would work with an expert who can help you, that knows their way around domain management, to connect your domain to your Office 365 mailboxes. The other huge thing that they're doing, and I think Miriam talked about Trello today, Microsoft Teams they've recognized that the open source community is producing great solutions. One is called Slack, and Slack, if I'm going to be honest, Teams is a gigantic ripoff of Slack. But having said that, now that they've invested in it and made their own version of it, Teams is now bigger, has more user base than Slack does. And the reason why it makes sense is a collaboration tool that starts around chat and messaging. And so, for example, and it's designed for your internal use, but you can also open it up to business partners and people you're working with. It starts with chat. And so I could have a chat with you, and I could have a chat with both of you, Dan and Robin. And so the chat dialogue also allows you to, while you're in the middle of the chat, you can switch to the phone. And this is partly because Microsoft, back a few years ago, bought Skype. And Skype had all of that collaboration stuff that was, again, replaced Messenger. And so it's giving people the ability to communicate in real time. The whole point is that they're trying to get people to realize that email is not the best way to communicate all the time. Sometimes if I want to send Dan a message, it'll pop up on the screen, but he's busy working on something. He'll see that alert, and when he goes and visits, oh, I got to respond to Paul. And these notifications come, and they make collaboration easy without having these gigantic email threads, which just are not really conducive to productivity. So then the next thing is that Teams also integrates with SharePoint. So you can create a new team, and it has a place for you to store your files within SharePoint. And so now you can work on projects. And the way Miriam described with Trello, it also has, and I got to be honest, the Microsoft Planner tool is not quite as strong as Trello, but it's along the same vein. And knowing Microsoft is going to evolve over time, and eventually it's going to be doing exactly what you want. But in the meantime, Teams has a series of plugins, and one of them is Trello.
Oh, wow.
So the plugins that you can get are growing every day. There's literally hundreds of them. And the idea is, using, without programming, you can hook these systems up together in order to get exactly what you want in a tailored environment.
Excellent.
So this tool has changed our business dramatically. We're communicating a lot better. You can walk into my office in the morning, and everybody's typing away, and it's just dead silent because everybody's working hard. But actually, we're all communicating with each other. And even though my guy Davude is sitting right next to Wyatt, and you don't hear them talking, they're having a conversation, right?
How bizarre is that?
And then every once in a while, you'll hear somebody laugh because maybe they'll use the communication to send each other a meme or whatever, and it's like, okay, get back to work, guys. Yeah. So it's a great tool, and it's and because it integrates with solutions like SharePoint, you can actually use it to manage projects and stuff like that. Questions?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. So is the positive thing there that people don't have to, like, in an office environment where you're screaming and yelling at people, that it's just, you can be more clear and distinct about the communication? Like if Rob and I were chatting about something you guys are trying to chat to, it's just too much noise. It's just easier to keep things clear.
Yeah, you can be very unambiguous, for example. So say, for example, Dave in my purchasing department is looking at a quote, or he's trying to source a server for somebody. And he goes, Paul, what do you think of this one? And he does a screen capture, plops, and I go, yeah, that looks like the right one. Is there enough quantity? And we just go back and forth. And he didn't have to get up from his desk. He didn't have to bring me over to his desk.
Right.
Because we may not be in the same room.
Right.
Right. But it just so happens that our company, a couple days a week, people come in, a couple days a week, they work from home. And the idea is.
Well, and then you've actually recording the conversation, quite frankly.
Exactly. And you can go back to those references as well.
Great.
And the other thing is it's entirely searchable.
Oh, amazing.
So it's a fun tool. It's working really well. It is their fastest growing product ever, and that's even outpacing Outlook, which Outlook was a gigantic application when it first came out. I think that was 95. So I already talked about Open Office, and it has benefits. I think the detriments that I see are more than the benefits are, especially if you're working in the corporate world. And I would say, if you're investing in yourself long term, don't start by going with something free and then switching to it, because now you've wasted all your investment in the documents and the presentations that you've made. And then G Suite, I guess it's a generational thing as well. There are a lot of younger people that are using G Suite, but what I'm saying is Microsoft is almost like the man in this case, and eventually, most people switch over. And it largely it's because of the standard.
You actually think people would switch over from G Suite?
Yeah.
Like younger generations?
Say for
switch over?
example, the requirement there is like, say for example, if you're operating in isolation, this is a very good tool. Like, I'm not knocking it, but what I'm saying is that a lot of organizations we've seen, and actually the customers we're picking up, and I'm not speaking from my own choice, because we started off as a G Suite company because we wanted to compare. But what we saw is we would go from customer to customer to customer to customer to customer, and they're all using Microsoft of some type.
Wow,
Really?
that makes sense, okay.
So actually going back to this one last point, some of our clients started off by saying, well, you know what, if I get Microsoft the package off the shelf from Staples for $249, within 14 months or 15 months, now I've paid for that license. So the drawback is that you're not getting the cloud-based services that come with it. And then on top of that, the application's evolving so much now, we're starting to make suggestions for, like, hey, you made a grammar mistake there, and it's going to make changes for you. And it's making suggestions about communication. So that when you buy this Office package today, it's static, and it's going to stay static. And because the cloud is changing so much with the advent of artificial intelligence and stuff like that, what my belief is that the benefits that are continuing to come from the constantly evolving product make the subscription worthwhile.
Right. Which will lessen problems, bugs, and the like. If you get a version that there's bugs and they got to put plugins to fix those bugs,
Yeah.
At least the fixes happen in real time. You log in one day and okay, whatever refreshes and
exactly. Patches do come for Office 2019, and they come for as long as, and they're going to call it 2019. But if Microsoft 365 version is now 2020, you're not getting any of the new advantages after that.
right.
Okay, so moving along. And again, Miriam, I do love G Suite applications. There's some things that they're doing that is really different from what Microsoft is doing. But our experience is that 99% of our customers are using Microsoft, and that's why I think it's a better fit for collaboration.
But it's funny because I use G Suite for my business, and at home we all use, like my husband's business uses Microsoft.
Mhm.
So it's it's like we're not communicating about which one's better. We're just like,
Yeah.
oh, I just prefer.
Yeah, they're both excellent.
Well,
tools.
what's handy is whichever one you learn, the other one is fairly transferable. Like they're writing each other's kind of user interface a little bit, where my daughter, for example, she'll come up with a project and I don't use G Suite, I use Microsoft. So I'll pop on, I can navigate it and figure it out.
Yeah.
Some of the terminology is a bit different, but presentation is just like PowerPoint, and Word is just like documents.
Yeah, and the formulas in Sheets is the same as
Right.
Excel.
Right, exactly.
And the thing is, you can open an Excel document in Sheets as well.
Right.
So that is there. The big turning point for me, which was the nail in the coffin was I would receive a spreadsheet in Excel, I would open it in Sheets, and then the formatting would just go to hell, right? And then I'd be like, oh, I just invested so much time in that.
Right.
Oh, I've got 0 seconds left. So the next tool is a password manager. I'm frequently being asked, what is it? I have so many passwords, and we're one of our services, we monitor the dark web. And so if you have Miriam Gold here at digitalmarketingexperts.com, we plug that in because you're our customer. .ca, sorry. If we plug that into our database and it scans the dark web on a regular basis, and then if Miriam's account gets breached, we know about it. And so what we're seeing with our customers is that a lot of people will have the same password for everything. And it's largely because they've given up and they go, it's just too hard for me. I'm just gonna use the same password for everything, and it's great. And so the big problem with that is and the guideline that I've been presented with is that for critical things, it's absolutely important, like your banking, your main email account, always have decently strong passwords, which usually is like a phrase and a number, and like punctuation and stuff like that. But don't make it impossible for yourself to remember. And that's why like a strange phrase that's not your address or your kids' birthdays and stuff like that. What this does is it actually allows you to take all of that password memory stuff away. And so a tool like this, there is a free version that is suitable for most people. There's a paid for version that has a few more features that I won't get into today, but it's secure and they encrypt it on the cloud side so that they can't even see what your passwords are. So it's a key that's tied to you that allows them to be able to store your stuff, keep it safe, and the only thing you need to access all your passwords is the one password that's your last password. So there are other tools like it. If you are going to go in another direction from the one I'm suggesting today, by all means go ahead, but also recognize that not everybody out there is going to be working in your best interest, and you could actually get phished, or if they don't have security, they get hacked and then you're hacked. So just make sure you're cautious when you're exercising.
When you refer to the dark web, is there
Yes.
legit, like you can tap into a thing that you can tell like all the, or is that just sort of a terminology you use?
So the dark web is basically, it's like the black market of the internet, and it's an actual, like, there's resources on there. You can access it using a special browser. So for example, like Tor, and I gotta be honest, I don't spend a lot of time on it and I'm not an expert in it. What we do is we pay partners of ours that do specialize in that.
Right.
And what they do is they're essentially buying lists and then reselling that service to us so that we can act on their behalf.
Gotcha.
Right? And so the dark web is, again, going to that analogy, it's the black web of the internet. One of the things you can do is you can buy a corporate password that somebody's harvested, and the price goes from $50 to $500 for that password. And so then what happens is somebody will come along and they'll use that password to pretend to be you, and then try to fool your families, friends, relatives, or business partners into doing something that is going to extort them, right? They'll defraud them of money. They'll pretend that they made a change to their payroll information and ask for an update. They'll say, listen, this contract is completed. Now, can you please forward the money to this bank account? So those are things that I've seen in the real world. And our way to try to protect against that is to try and just see when a password's been compromised and get it changed before the bad guys take advantage of you.
Awesome.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, I'm gonna move as quickly as possible. The last thing is I get a lot of people saying, and this is not a tool, this is more like what to buy. And I'm gonna say very quickly that the money you put into a computer that you're going to purchase makes a big difference to your performance and your productivity. It even comes down to how good is the keyboard. And the example, using myself as an example, 15 years ago, I bought my daughter a laptop, and it was a Best Buy budget model. It was $399, and she never used it once because every time she touched the keyboard, the mouse pad would like interrupt her screen and stuff like that. And then the keys were super hard to use, and it was slow. It would take 25 minutes to boot, that type of thing. That was fresh out of the box.
Right.
You want a tool that doesn't get in the way so you can focus on your business. And so look for systems that are business class. Talk to somebody that's knowledgeable about what it is that they're selling you, and make sure that you can get something that is going to be responsive, reliable. When you install antivirus on it, it's not going to slow down significantly because it has enough horsepower to run a decent antivirus solution, that type of thing.
So those brands were all good brands?
Well, actually, no. Great point. HP, Dell, Lenovo, Asus, and Apple all make great computers, but they also all make terrible computers. So, watch your language. We're on. This is a PG-rated film. Yeah. So just make sure that they all make something for every market. And like Lenovo makes the ThinkPad, but they also make the IdeaPad, and it's not a very good computer in comparison. So Mac, just basically what you get, like say for example, you buy one, it's got less RAM, it's got a smaller hard drive, and stuff like that. Generally speaking, Apple has set a minimum standard, but that's a concern. So talk to somebody, make sure you say, can I get this, and is it going to last me 3 years or 5 years or 7 years? Great. Last thing I'll talk about is invest in technology that streamlines your business. A lot of our customers that we've seen when they're first starting out, they're doing things on paper. They're using Excel. Tools like Service Fusion, which are designed to help field service companies, and the field service companies like a plumbing company, HVAC companies, they all have a similar format. They start with an estimate, which turns into an approved quote, which turns into scheduling, which turns into a work order, which turns into a sign-off, which turns into an invoice, which turns into payment. This software handles all of those aspects. They can schedule crews, individuals, etc. And it's interactive with the customer, so you can, and it's really, the workflow of this type of solution is right in line with how your business works. And on top of that, it integrates with software like QuickBooks, so you can take the money side of the business and import it into your accounting software. And then the last thing is people ask me, well, what software are people using? And I'm going to leave this part to Robin because she's the accountant. But basically, you can see here on this graph, QuickBooks is like Microsoft Office, holds the majority of the seats in the world. And so these other products that are listed are good. There's also FreshBooks, but I'll let her talk more about that. And speaking of which, the lovely Robin.
So hi, my name is Robin Rainamo. I'm a chartered professional accountant. I have my own accounting firm, and so I've been doing this. I don't like to tell people. 28 years. I was an accountant in South Africa for 8, and then I was an accountant here in Canada for 20. This is my 20th year. So the last 10 years, I've been a self-employed accountant, and that is what actually sets me apart from other accountants. And that is that my strength and is that I am a business owner too. So I pay taxes, I have to market my business, I have to sell, I have to manage my family, and I have to manage my health. So if you have problems, I mean, it can be accounting problems, but sometimes people just come to my office and they just talk about other things. So I call it the therapy couch. Some marriage counseling. Anyways, that aside. So yes, I'm excited to be here and to share some of my information with you. So So one of the big things that I always tell new business owners is that the big question is, what is a business? So we define a business as an activity where there is a reasonable expectation of profit, and there's evidence to support that intention. Businesses are not hobbies, so you've got to be in it for the long haul. I have a lot of my female clients, especially, not to point any fingers at them. They'll come and they'll say, well, I'm not really doing this to make money. It's not about the money. Nonsense, it's all about the money. Like, be strong, be empowered. You have every right to make a living. You have every right to earn money, and it's an exchange. So it's not, don't think of it as I'm making money or I'm robbing people. You're not robbing people. You're exchanging energy. You're giving them something in exchange for their money. You're helping them, right? We're all helping each other. So, and also from a CRA perspective, if you have a hobby, they're going to tell you it's not a business. You cannot sustain losses year after year after year. It gets to a point where they actually will cut you off, and you have to prove to them that your intention is actually to make money. So if you're not making money, I always highly recommend that you take a deep breath. This is your 3rd year, you're not making money. Why? Is it that you're not charging the right prices? Is it maybe that you're spending too much money? So you do need to regroup, not just for CRA, but for yourself. You know, maybe you need to increase the prices, maybe you need to hire less staff, maybe you need to make some difficult decisions. So anyway, so we're here to make money. Okay. So the biggest question I always get from new business owners is, okay, it's not a hobby, I'm in it for the long haul, so which structure should I have? So, I mean, there's lots of different types of structures. Well, not really, there's 5. You either can be a sole proprietor, or you could be a partnership with, with a friend or with a family member, or you can be incorporated, or you can be a charity. You can register as a charity or not-for-profit, depending, what your ultimate goals are. So I've written a list here of the things that you can consider, and like Miriam said, that this is going to be available for everybody to use as a resource afterwards. So this is not a decision that I would make very lightly. I would definitely put some thought into it. You should definitely consult with an accountant and lawyer. One of the things that Paul highlighted, actually everybody's highlighted, is you will have to spend some money at some point, but spend it where it makes sense. So I, unfortunately, have seen many situations where people have not done this correctly, and it's cost them money and heartache later. So don't think about your business starting. It's like when you get married. You don't. Unfortunately, you think about the divorce. You have to consider the divorce. What happens when the
reverse engineer your unhappiness.
Yeah, but I know it's reality. So anyway, so you think about your type of the business, what you do, your intentions and vision for the future, your succession plan, and is your idea for your children to take over the business? Are you going to build it and sell it? What's your experience in the field? Your current and potential clients, your liabilities, so for example, I'll tell you something very interesting. If you're a photographer, you should probably be incorporated. The reason being is a high rate of suing. There's some very unfortunate stories of photographers who have wrecked the dress. When you wreck the dress, after your wedding, you want to have fun shots where your dress is getting ruined. So this, girls are drowned. Drowned because they want to do the leg foot, and then the dress is too heavy and they sink, right? Yeah. Okay. So that's why I always say you have a conversation with your lawyer, right? The other one that you should really consider incorporating is if you're in anything to do with the medical field, right? Because you're thinking about personal liability. But having said that, I mean, it is the other side. You can get insurance to protect yourself, right? And a good lawyer can pierce most structures. So and you've got to consider your spouse and your family, your personal tolerance for risk, your cash flow, and your capital injections, and if you're the sole owner or employee. So if you're the sole owner, incorporating is maybe not the best solution for you. Because the personal liability sticks with you. You are the business. So a lawyer is going to be able to get to you, right? But if you have employees, you're not responsible. You can't be held entirely responsible for what your employees are doing out in the world. So in that respect, you incorporate so that you protect yourself of what your staff might be getting up to when you're not around. Okay, so there's lots to consider. Don't do it alone. Okay. And then, okay, so now another thing we need to talk about is, and in fact, I'm actually not going to go into this too much detail, but I just want you all to know that there's stuff around the subject, and that you should consult a professional. Because what happens is I sometimes recommend to my clients, start out as a sole proprietor and let's just take it from there, right? There is a utility called a tax-free rollover. So these are very technical, which means that when you get to a certain, you've built your sole proprietor to a certain level, you then roll your assets into a corporation, right? And you need an accountant and a lawyer to do that. Okay, so because you are building up wealth in your sole proprietor, it's gaining value and goodwill and things like that. And then to incorporate, you can do it yourself. I don't recommend it. I personally go to a lawyer. Best money you can spend. There's a way to structure the shares so that you can transfer funds to your children. Yesterday, I was at my lawyer's office giving him 2 thick minute books. They didn't even, this company was registered in 2004, and it doesn't have share capital. So we're at this point, we don't know who owns the company. It's not in writing. The wife almost died. She's like, what do you mean? I need to own half this company. I'm sorry, you don't. There's no share register. There's no share certificate.
That would have been an interesting dinner.
At the Hungarian restaurant.
I know. So anyways, one of the things that you can do, like if you just open up a sole proprietor or a partnership, you go to the ministry's website, and you go and pick your name. So you can go pick your name. You can make sure that nobody else has the same name as you, because you want to be unique. And that is good for 5 years. Nobody will remind you to renew your name, so you have to take your own personal responsibility to make sure that your name is copyrighted to you. Okay. And try to go quicker. Okay, then accounting software. Huge question. Okay, so why do we maintain accounting records? Okay, first of all, the information has to be relevant and reliable, right? You need to know what are my sales? What are my expenses? What are my, where am I spending my money? This is all very, very important information. It's like Google Analytics, but with your money.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to know where things are going, especially to start analyzing it to see where you can make changes, right? Some people do it in Excel spreadsheets, perfectly fine. You will outgrow it. This is a spot where I sometimes recommend spending just a little bit of money, but you do need to consider your factors. As you can see, I have a list again. You've got to consider the cost. Always, we've got to consider the cost, the number of users that you have. A lot of these softwares, for example, FreshBooks, when you get to a certain number of users, you have to upgrade. Your automation. So I am definitely a girl that's for automation. If there's a way for me not to have to do something, I will find it. And what's really cool with all the stuff that Paul was talking about, and I know Azzy's got some things to tell you as well, and with Miriam, is that these apps all can work together and you can automate the information. If you're ever in a situation where you're typing in something and you know that your staff member is typing in the exact same thing, then there's an automation and there's a quicker, better way to do it. Okay, biggest question, and I'm going to do a bit of a plug here, is where is your data and who has access to it? So I'm just going to give you all a really scary thought. In my office, I have everybody's social insurance number. I have over 500 clients. Everybody's social insurance number. I have their home addresses. I have the information about their children. I have their medical information. I know what drugs they take. I know how much money they make.
You have access to their bank accounts?
I have access to their bank accounts in some cases. So one of the most important things that I think is that I personally would like an accountant who has all that information protected, right? And that is one of the biggest reasons why I don't work from home. I do not want my children and my husband and visitors to my home to ever have access to that information. And full disclosure, Paul's my guy.
Hi. What?
I know, yeah, he's like I have a firewall. I know when I go to bed at night time, and my data, my client's data is very well protected. And I also know that it's in Canada. That's another thing I know, and it's not being sold.
In the black dark
In the black dog market. So anyway, I mean, these are things. These are things to think about, right? Another thing you need to think about with your accounting software is the growth of your business. I would start with a good software, because the last thing you want to do is incur money, so that because then you have to transfer that data into another system, right? Yeah. And then access to data. So one of the things, I will let you know that all the big items on this list are covered by QuickBooks. It's my favorite software. I'm sorry, guys.
Mine too.
So QuickBooks has the 3 different versions: of the enterprise, the desktop, and the online. Most of my sole proprietors and smaller owner-managed businesses, actually not that small, are on the online. The desktop, people are getting tired of desktop, because every time you upgrade, and it has to be in the office, whereas online is in the server. And they've come a long way from when they started. They've really come a long way. And it's open source data, so it automates with a lot of other apps, right? My really sophisticated, we talking multi-million clients, on the enterprise. It's equivalent to like your Dynamics and those big systems. It's a really powerful program. When you are assembling inventory, or you have my diamond clients, like those type of people, they're on enterprise. So speak to your accountant, will help you choose a package. The other thing that you really do need to think about is the last 3, is access to data after your subscription is cancelled. So QuickBooks for sure give you a year, so that you can still access your data. So that's something to think about, because remember, information is very, very powerful and very valuable. We're in the information age. Data loss and recovery, that's another one to consider. Online is obviously always there. And as long as you have internet, something you must think about as well. You need internet to run it. And then, like I said, it's an open source for other applications. I cannot even begin to tell you the most amazing solutions we've put together using the other apps and automation, and because we don't like to enter data, we're not data capturers, right? Sorry.
Can I pause you on that?
Sure.
One of the things you talked about is online QuickBooks. They also have opened up an API where you can basically create your own systems to feed directly into it.
It's amazing.
That's one of the things that we're seeing clients of ours do this year.
Yeah.
And it's pretty exciting because,
I love it.
again, more
I know,
automation.
you can see this is my passion. I love it.
Could you explain that to the layman? What you guys?
Yeah,
Whatever you want to
basically-
do, you can do.
Guys, can we do this after, because we have 2 more presenters and we're like so short.
I know, okay, very quickly. So why do we keep our books? We keep books for 3 reasons: to make business decisions, to for financing requirements, which I know Andy's going to tell you all about, and then for tax purposes and compliance reasons. To make business-related decisions, information needs to be reliable and relevant. CRA requires you to keep your documents for 7 years. In case of queries and audits, it can be 3 to 4. Speak to me, I'll tell you how. And I would like you all to know that modern accounting is primarily paperless and cloud-based. I don't know if you saw in my profile, in my bio, I have made 3 accounting firms, if I count the one I've got right now, paperless. I'm 100% paperless. And it's game changer, right? Okay, last thing. Is it the last one? Yeah, sorry. I'm gonna think of that.
Just push up.
Oh, push up.
Go down. There you go.
Okay, so payment methods, very, very, very important. Never ever have paying for your services be a pain point. You want your clients to pay you easily. So, and one of the things that you must consider, so what Mary was saying, when you talk to your accountant, always consider how is the tax handled in all provinces of Canada. So a lot of people will sign up with these different payment methods, and they don't realize that it's just a payment method, and it's not handling the sales tax correctly. So that's something always to consider. Every province almost has a different rate. And you know, Quebec does the own thing. Okay, so the other thing is you've got to be careful that you're not duplicating your accounting entries. So sometimes what's happening is you're entering the invoice and then you're paying, so you've got your invoices in one system and you've got your payments in the other system, and you're trying to, like, if you're duplicating work, it's not a good system. You also got to, when you are audited by CRA, a sales tax audit, or if you're audited for any particular reason, one of the things you need to be able to do is retrieve your invoices. Always make sure that they're very easily to be retrieved. And then how quickly, this is my favorite part, okay? When you're considering the payment method, consider how quickly the funds are transferred to your business bank account. So I can tell you, the cheaper ones take 3 days, 2 to 3 days. So yeah, you're saving fees, but I'm not getting my money right away. So whereas if you get a decent payment method, I personally use Gamble-Rack, if you must know, which is with, which company is it there? Sphere. I love it. My money is in my account the next morning. I can run a credit card tonight. It's in my account by the time I wake up in the morning. I mean, for me, that looks like, because I do it for money. Anyway, that's not a hobby. I love my job. It's not a hobby. And that brings me to Azzy. So Azzy and I, just so you know, have worked together on a few projects. She's helped my clients who are unable to get mortgages get mortgages. So for me, she's like,
thank you.
We have that.
And she has all of my banking and credit card information,
Yeah,
and
so you
I feel safe.
Because
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everybody at the table. So I look over and I see my little emoji, and I feel like that symbolizes me to a T. You know, my nickname is Happy Azzy, but I also work in the mortgage industry right now. But I've been self-employed for a very long time. So I have employees. We have the manufacturing side, so I know all about the struggles. But right now that I'm on the mortgage side, I can say the thing that's very important to people is, you know, your financial health. You know, how many Canadians, what do the stats say about how many Canadians are in debt? You know, forget about saving for retirement, like they're in debt. You know, it's not a good place to be. So I thought I'm going to focus on, you know, your credit, like your financial health. It's super important, I feel. So I'm going to talk about the tools to build your credit and your financial security. So right now, it's really a lot of information. You have all these bills coming at you. On top of working a full-time job, you've got bills, you got to check your balances, make sure you have money in the account, you don't miss anything, you know, and still run your business, you know. So there's a lot of tools out there. Thank God we're in a day and age where there's a lot of technology that we can use to kind of make it easier. And Robin was right. You know, when I saw Wave up there, I was like, I'm going to talk about receipts by Wave, and there's a lot of things over there that I use. So let's talk about some of that. So Mint is a great app. It's free, and it's one of the top rated financial apps of the Canadian App Store. I really like it. I like to see very nice colors. I'll show you a couple of slides about how cute they are too. It's super easy to use. So basically this app brings together all of your accounts, your bills, your investment accounts, like everything on one dashboard, you know, and it's like a holistic approach to what is going on in your life, right? So you can see your bills, you can get reminders, hey, you know what, your account's looking a little low and this bill's coming up, maybe touch this account and throw some money at it, because everything is associated to each other. It's syncing with an account as well. It tracks your spending, and once it knows you, it starts sending you little tips. It's like, oh, you know what? Why don't you add a little bit more money next month, because I won't have to give you a notification or something like that. It also gives you, for me, I think this is key, anybody who isn't getting unlimited free credit scores on some kind of platform, it's not good, because so many Canadians don't know what their credit score is. They don't know what their credit report really looks like. I mean, you know, he's going to protect you, but at the end of the day, you should be on top of it and check it. And a lot of people say, oh, well, if a mortgage broker or a financial person checks it, it's a hard pull, which means that it affects your credit score. But guess what? There's a lot of softwares out there and tools like Mint that it doesn't. It's called a soft pull. So check it as many times as you want. You know, sometimes I have clients walking into a bank, they ask a question, and they're like, Azzy, I say to them, I see it on your credit. You walked into TD, you asked a question, but guess what? They checked your credit. You would know You could just walk out and then, and the next day just check to see if your credit, something's happened. Do you see a score there? Do you see something's changed in your score? It does happen to people more often than you think. So yeah, so that's really important. And I know people don't really like to spend the time, but creating a customizable like budget to your life, like if you're 40, 30, 50, you have a different life goal. So make a budget. Maybe you have some money to save, but maybe you need to throw money towards your debt at the end of the budget. Maybe you need to readjust your life. This is amazing because Mint will say, you know what, I want you to focus on a goal. Do you have extra money every month? Let's go towards that goal. And what's your timeline? Is it a timeline or an amount? And so talking about that, and you associate an account with it. So here you go. So where's your goal? When you look at this, do you want to take a trip? Do you want to improve your home? Like pick something and give it an amount. So it starts calculating how much you need for that goal. And I mean, look at this. It's beautiful. Look at the colors. I'll paint my whole house in these colors so you can see, So you can see right away, look at you. You've spent this much this month, and oh my God, look at your budget. Look at that orange space at the bottom. That's a lot of spending on one specific thing. Maybe it's on your mortgage. I mean, there are things that to consider here. Have you stuck to your budget? Do you have extra money, or are you under budget or over budget? Okay, why are you over budget?
This is also good for a household that shares the bank account.
Absolutely.
I mean, not for some people,
Oh,
but for, just to get all the cards on the table, if somebody's running a little bit, buying too much, Miriam's buying too many shoes or something, then you can say, hey, one of us has to rein it in a little bit.
Or one of my kids had a crazy Uber,
Right.
I was like, you get that, you go, Uber is like, you're over budget on the Uber because you said it's going to cost 100 and now you're at 300. It's a problem. We're going to readjust that.
Go for
I'm just saying, right? Yeah, exactly. So then the credit scores, look how pretty it is. It says, yeah, you know what, all your payments are on time. Yeah, you're looking good, and then you go from there. So let's go over here. So your cash flow. And my favorite is when you look at the investments that you have, if your baby plant is not growing, you're really saving just the 1%, your little plant looks very small. But as it encourages you, your plant grows, your investments are growing, you're saving more, your little plant is growing. I don't know, I find that amazing.
That's good.
So once again, the major thing, I want to go into the next app talking about the most important thing for me anyway. I see people's credit and I see missed payments on bills. I say to them, the lender's asking me, what is wrong? What happened in 2018? Oh no, I was on vacation, I just didn't see it. Nothing happened, there's no life, and why is it there? So let's avoid that because it does stay on there for quite a while. Let's get all of our reminders. It's all in one place. You never miss it because there's alerts coming in, and if you're low on funds, it tells you. You got to go and fix this. So this coming into my e-post. Okay, so this is another app. 8 million Canadians use this app, and it's free. And basically, you can take your entire filing cabinet and throw it out the window. Okay, but don't be violent by doing this because it keeps. Not only does it sync your bills to an account and you can just pay it on this platform, but it keeps it for 7 years. So it's an additional layer to anything that you're using. Maybe you're not using a software right now, but you can at least do this for your household, So I love this. It's free. 8 million people are using it. Okay, so receipts by Wave. Robin mentioned the second software that she had on her list was Wave, and this is completely free. This section of it, you can effortlessly take pictures of your receipts. I'm going to just show you here. Okay, so I love graphics. So hassle-free, you just take a picture. It has an amazing technology. It brings in all the information from it. Yes, you take a minute to approve it. You don't have to be online right away, but then once it connects to the internet, it syncs with your software, and then you don't have any spreadsheets to do. It just magically comes all together. And that excuse of I don't know where my receipt is, CRA doesn't accept that. You need to digitally have a place to store it. Okay. So next app is Debt Payoff Assistant. Okay, so this is amazing because people are in debt. So what strategy do you use to pay off your debt? This is a great app because it compares different strategies together. So the debt snowball strategy versus the debt avalanche strategy. So everybody would think I'm going to pay my high interest credit cards or loans first. But for this, they say, you know what? For the people that like instant gratification, pick your smallest balance debt first, and then put minimum payments towards everything else. Once that one's gone, you have less interest that you're paying, and then take that and now go to the second low balance and pay that aggressively as well. So it is a snowball effect, but you can compare methods. You could do the avalanche, which is paying your higher interest once, and regardless of the balance, and just targeting that. And it'll give you a beautiful spreadsheet if you want to tell you which one would save you more money, dollars and cents. So it also has amazing calculators. Okay, so if you want to be debt free and you want to know, okay, what with this technique or that technique, this is my credit card, it'll tell you what you're actually paying in principal, interest, remaining balance, so you can pay off faster. There's stats on there that'll tell you like what you are doing right and what you could be doing better. So a lot of things, and there's a unlimited amount of debts. I'm just kind of going through this very quickly. So you don't have to put just your credit card. You owe money for your laptop, put it in there. Bank loan, mortgage, car loan, just put it in there, and it just shows you exactly what percentage you owe where, and as this goes down, it starts giving you beautiful reports. Okay, so now I'm just going to finish off on the apps, and I'm just going to talk about the Financial Consumer Agency of Canada. It's from the Canadian government. Their mandate is to promote your financial education as Canadians, and they have amazing tools. Okay, so anything you want to know to become financially healthier is here. Okay, and so you want to budget, you want to save, you want to set financial goals, you want to achieve. You see the theme is very repetitive. Financial health only has a couple of factors. So it has great tools, and I'm going to go through them very quickly. So the budget calculator tool, really, what do? You put it in, it's customized to your life, your stage, what you want to achieve. All of it comes together. It's very like all together. It knows your debts, it knows your budget. What is it that you want to do? Maybe your budget is to incorporate a place where you're going to be debt free soon. Maybe it's no, I want to save for retirement. So it asks situations like, what's your life situation? What's your age range? What's your work status? And then it comes up with the next steps, which are really great. So you see, again, beautiful colors, really well done. You see your expenses, your saving, your income, all of that comes from you, but it really helps you keep on track, and it's very nicely done. Okay, so then you have your financial goal calculator. Again, so now we have a budget and everything, but what is that extra saving? What are my goals? What am I doing? And you can see on this side, it says, do you want to get out of debt or do you want to save? So, you could go either way on this financial goals. You answer a lot of the questions, tailor-made to you, and then it generates, like, let's say this one for the goal is to pay off the debt. It tells you exactly what to do that, okay? So a lot of people will save money and then they won't have the information on what to do. Yes, 100% go to someone like Robin because she knows everything. But if you want to know the basics, I say you go here and you understand what RSP is, tax-free saving account, and all that beautiful stuff. But again, an accountant knows all of the intricacies of that. And so there's these beautiful worksheets. And again, I talked about that. I'm just going to go through it quickly. Okay, one of the great tools that I love, let's say you don't know what credit card to get. How many of us are bombarded at the bank or somewhere? We don't know what credit card to get or bank account. And let's say we want something that's no banking fees, but we want, travel points or blah, blah. Great. Guess what? They have an entire platform. You can answer the questions. What are your dreams? You want travel? You want grocery points? What do you want? And then based on that, they'll generate, here's the list, and it's very detailed. The websites are there, the small, the little writing that you don't know. Yeah. They've deciphered all that information for you. So you pick two now, you pick two credit cards and you go, tell me. And then it tells you exactly, here's what it is. Here's your first card. Here's your second card. Here's what's going on. And that's based on what you put in there, and they tell you the real information. It's unbiased information. You're not going to TD Bank website to get the information. You're going to an unbiased government agency. Okay? Yeah. So the same thing for bank accounts. So the last one I'm going to talk about is the mortgage qualifier tool. It's near and dear to my heart because a lot of people think, especially with the stress test, that they can't buy and they don't want to ask the question. Maybe they don't want to, they're too intimidated to talk to a professional like me in the beginning. And they go on there, it'll tell you the basics. What's your income? How long do you want this mortgage for? Put in an interest rate and it'll tell you what you can afford. Now, big disclaimer on this because this is basically the banks, right? So there's the major banks and all that, but we do a lot of alternative lending and this does not capture that. So I would say speak to a professional. Just because the 5 major banks don't want to give you a mortgage, it doesn't mean that that's everything. Okay, because a lot of
And
people.
also, if
yeah.
you're so one of the big challenges if you're a self-employed person is that you have to give 2 years of financial statements, and the banks won't touch you. You need to have a job with a pay stub. So we don't have jobs with pay stubs.
Yeah. And
So,
I've done hairdressers with all cash income that just deposited into their account and they've gotten mortgages. So this to me seems very like 5 major banks kind of thing. And I just want to say that there's definitely a possibility for other people to have a mortgage. Okay, so there you go. And then the last thing I was gonna say was I pay. Again, everything there was free, but I do pay, and I love you, and I think this works too, right? So for me, our family pays $29.95, and we have the Equifax tool that scans the internet to see if anybody's using our data. They have an insurance on there of $50,000 if there's identity theft. I also, again, like I've walked into a place and they checked my credit. My employer checked my credit the other day and didn't tell us. They do it once a year, and I got a notification right away. Your credit score just dropped. Take a look at why. And there's unlimited reports that you can take. You don't have to pay or wait. And it's, again, a soft pull. So there's a lot of things, credit and monitoring. I think knowing your credit is important. If you want a business loan or you want to buy something and you need money, this is important. And
I want to be clear. I don't provide identity restoration services. I think Miriam or
Deb does.
Deb does.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, go ahead, Deb. We're short on time.
Okay, so I've got 12 minutes to deliver 20 minutes worth of
I'm
information,
supposed to go
so
fast.
I'm gonna go really fast, but I come from a sales background, 22 years in the corporate sales and the last 11 in entrepreneurial sales. So one of the things I'd like to do is make it unscary for all of you, because as much as we've covered a lot of great information here today, if the sales aren't coming in the door, you don't have a business. So this is the most important.
Yes.
Is it scary? No. I'm going to take that fear away. Is there a process that you can follow? Absolutely. So understanding the sales process is pretty simple. You have an opening or introduction, uncovering or creating the need, doing the proper research, and presenting the solution and closing the sale. So I'm going to talk about each of those for a second. Opening and introduction. One of the best things I ever did when I started my own business was, we already heard from Dan about getting out there and meeting people in your community. Join a chamber of commerce, join an organization, a networking group, where you can start to get feedback right away on some of your ideas, and meeting people. And you're going to want to ask for key introductions, building strategic alliances. So you're out there. And the next point, associations where your clients are already going. Go to where your clients are so that you're already in their space. You're already playing in their sandbox. An example of this was when I was with, I was doing marketing and sales into the pharmaceutical industry. So I joined the Ontario Pharmaceutical Marketing Association, and I went on their executive. So I had access to the entire database, and I created friendships and did a lot of business because of that relationship. But you need to make that opportunity for yourself by opening the door and getting introductions. It's not going to walk in and set itself down on your desk and say, I'm here to buy, okay? All right. Then once you've got the relationship, you need to uncover or create the need. And the first point here I've got is 2 ears, 1 mouth. You have to become really good at asking questions and listening to the answers, because people want to talk about their business. They want to talk about their pain points. You need to ask the right questions and listen to the response. And when they're talking, you need to be prepared and ask leading or disturbing questions so that you can find the pain point that you're going to solve for them. And then you want to confirm that back with confirmation statements with what I understand you need is this, and get them to confirm it. And then you want to ask, if I could do this for you, Robin, would you be willing to go ahead? So you want to be confirming all the way along and getting them to say yes. And we call it the Andrew's nod. You're going to be reflecting what you want to see in them. So you're going to nod at them and you're going to smile at them so that they're saying yes answers, which will lead to your yes. Okay. Doing the right amount of research and being prepared. You can never be over prepared. And I find that in presentations like this, or in presentations for you and your clients, when you know your stuff, it just flows. You're not nervous at all. I know that I presented in one of my past lives to a room full of 400 anti-money laundering and fraud lawyers, and I wasn't nervous at all. Why? Because I knew my stuff. I knew my topic. I knew what I was talking about. So when you know your stuff, you're good to go. So take the extra time and be prepared. Also take your time and know what your competition is offering, because you will be asked those questions. And it's not a bad thing, because knowing what your competition is offering will help you identify where the differences are and where your strengths are, so that you can sell to your strengths. And compensation, always think, what's in it for you? Okay, what's in it for the client? What need does this fit? You always want to think of with them, across the top of the head of the person you're talking to. What's with them? What's in it for me? That's what they're asking themselves as you're talking. So you need to be answering that question for them. How can you help your client solve an issue or problem? So that's all part of the research. Then in the presentation, now you've done all your research, you're going to talk to your client, you want to make 3 suggestions. You want to go with like a low, medium, high, if that's kind of in your bailiwick. Why? Because people want to choose. They don't want to be told. They want to choose. They want to feel in control of the process. So when you say, here's option A, B, or C, and I'm actually going to recommend B, and here's why, but here's a scaled down version, and here's a more elaborate version. You've given them the choice, and they feel like they're in charge. You also want to keep your presentation simple and easy to understand, and not with a lot of detail. Have those in the appendix at the end, and keep it very professional. How are you going to close the sale? This is one of the questions I always get, especially from new people in the business. You're going to ask for the business. Number one reason why people don't get the sale, they don't ask. They spent all that time, they presented the information, and here you go, Paul. Okay, let me know what you think. No, you don't want to let them know what they think. You're going to say, so is there anything stopping us from moving ahead today? That's going to bring out some objections, if there are objections there, that you can then go back and answer for them. Okay, so you're in business, like Robin says, to make money. Ask for the business. Number one reason. You'd be amazed how many people don't actually ask for the business. And then what you're going to do is ask for the follow-up. If it's a no at this point, you know, Marion, would you mind if I follow up with you in 3 to 6 months to see where we're at and see if I can be of service then? So then it goes into your follow-up. And that's a whole nother topic that we can talk about, is proper follow-up and the sales cloud. And one thing that I see a lot of us not doing as much as we should be doing, and I know a lot of us are getting better at it, is asking for referrals. Your best source of new sales is referrals from your existing customers. And the power of the referral is exponential, okay? So that's closing the sale. So some of the tools that I've used in my, hundreds of years of experience, I'm just gonna go through them really quickly. Time management. So I started applying the Eat the Frog, Brian Tracy, if you haven't read it, Eat the Frog first, applying 10 by 10. So by 10 o'clock in the morning, I make sure that I reach out and ask for business or engage in a question to a client by 10 a.m. It's not always easy to do. Sometimes I'm, okay, well today it'll be 12 by 12. I haven't got it done. But that, if I have that mindset in the morning for my time management, it really helps me get my day off to a good start. But eating the frog first is dealing with one of those things that you don't want to deal with. I've got a frustrated client. I really need to get back to them and answer their question. Do that first thing in the morning, because then you've dealt with it, and everything else is good from there. Okay. Time management systems. I'm in a world right now where I'm paper and electronic, and I'm trying to merge the two. I have not been successful yet. So I'm working in 2 worlds. Do whatever works for you. I do time blocking and I do color coding. So first thing I go in on my time management is I go in, I block out everything that's really urgent and important for me. This year, first time in my life, I've blocked out workout. So that's important to my health, my mental health, my physical health. And I decided that 2020 is the year that I take control of that. Same thing with your business. You put it in your calendar. So then what it does is it shows you your white space. That's what's left for you to work with. And it gets eaten up pretty fast. But find something that works for you. Goal setting. This alone, I could take a day to train you on. I'm not going to. Google it. Go in and find out about smart goal setting. There's tons and tons of tools out there. But specific, measurable, assignable, realistic, and time-based. If your goals are not SMART goals, then they're just dreams. You need to write them down, and you need to spend some time and work with a business coach or work with somebody that has some experience in this. This is one of the things that has led to my success, and what I call it is backwards mapping. It's taking the future, this is where I will be in the future, and then walking it backwards. What did I do in order to get there? What are the steps? What makes this fun, and people like Azzy's brain love this because she's an engineer. You can take sales and make it science. You can make it scientific, because if you do the activity, you will get the results. So if you break that down into, I know that I have to pique 10 people's interest to be able to do 3 presentations to end up with 1 sale. Then it's just math, and it's a formula, and you can put it into a backwards mapping plan that says, I want to make, okay, we're back to money. I want to make $30,000 this month. How am I going to do it? Well, I know that I have to do this, and you can have a lot of fun with this. This actually makes sales fun, okay? So if you want to know more about how I've applied that, reach out after. I'm happy to provide what I've done there for you. Creating vision. So this is more about working with your team or working with even yourself. Create vision for yourself. But for me, I'm talking here about working with your sales team or people that are integral to your success. So you want them to feel a part of something bigger than just them. So creating vision is about sharing stories and helping people believe in themselves and the company, and the services. And learn more about the personality types so that you can mirror them. And again, that training I could do a whole afternoon on. But when you're talking to a shark, dolphin, whale, urchin, it's best to understand what they are. And what I mean by that is a shark is a driver type mentality. A dolphin, I'm a dolphin. I like fun, I like activity. And whales want to save the planet. They're really concerned. They're supporters. And urchins are the accountants and the engineers that like to know all the details. And we need them. They're wonderful. But when you learn how to talk to the different personalities, it helps. So creating vision and knowing how to create that vision for a shark or a dolphin is different in how you present it. So, and vision is about believing in the future before you see it. And because that shifts, okay? And lastly, decision making. Have you ever made a decision and your brain feels at rest? That doesn't happen by chance. There's actual science that says once you've made a decision, your brain, and there's all kinds of wonderful scientific terms for it, but your brain releases, and now, because you've got the end in sight, all of the solutions to your issues will become more apparent, because your brain science says, okay, the decision is made, now stop thinking about all the other stuff, and the actual solutions that have always been there become apparent. And I've done a whole study on decision making and results and what happens, and it's crucial in the sales process. So how do you apply that? I am going to reach $30,000 in sales this month. Boom, my decision is made. Now the how-to kicks in, and all the solutions will become apparent. Sounds a little woo-woo, but it works. Okay, so we just covered time management tools, smart goal setting, applying backwards mapping, creating a vision, and making a decision. Lastly, I want to cover retention. Sales is about the relationship. It's all about the relationship. So you want to build on that relation. You want to continue to build value. You want to recognize the client. Number one reason why people leave companies is because they're not feeling valued. It's not always about the money. It's about how they're treated and how they're not feeling valued. So recognize your clients in the same way. People continue to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. Do your clients know you? Do they like you? Do they trust you? If they do, build on that. If they don't, figure out why and fix it. And That's sales and retention
Yeah.
in 7 minutes.
Okay.
I can go into a lot more detail. Reach
Okay.
out to me if you want.
So just give me a quick second. I'm going to unmute if anybody has any questions. How do you unmute? There we go.
It's just.
Hi.
Oh, I can tell you. I bought it online.
Hi guys. Do you guys? Does anybody have any questions?
Can I talk to you after?
You are all unmute.
Unmuted.
Unmuted. So we can hear you. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Yeah, I bought it online, Dad. I just.
What did you
Can I
buy
ask you a
online?
question, Dad?
Sure.
So what kind of sales tools would your team, would you recommend that you would use for your
Yeah.
team? Or sales cycle and help them get through this in an organized kind of fashion?
Yeah, so it really differs depending on what type of brain you have and what you want to do. Like my husband he's a database guy. He loves his database. He's his mastermind. I use old school stuff. So it really depends. We're moving more into the age of automation of everything being automated with the ticklers and things like that. Salesforce, absolutely.
So QuickBooks Online has a very basic CRM.
Oh, yeah.
You can make notes, like I met the client.
Keep track and have
Yeah.
reminders.
Yeah.
And
Cold lead, hot lead.
Right.
A lot of it's really hard.
A lot of the accounting solutions do have CRMs in them. But what I wanted to say, so one of the things that I've learned in my last 10 years as a self-employed person is that I myself have really developed as a person because you read more and right? You read really good books and you learn from other people. I mean, I've learned so much just from you guys. And I know you, and I see you every week.
You do see us every week.
I learned new stuff today. Amazing. Like I'm really very special. Thank you.
Anytime.
That's a good point, actually. You just said something. Find like-minded people who are trying to grow their business and meet with them on a regular basis to grow your business.
Yes, very true.
Yeah.
So that's very true. So does anybody have any questions? Are they unmuted or muted?
Everybody's unmuted, but I don't know. Do you have to apply all? Is
It's
there
already
an
done.
apply?
It's already done, yeah.
Aaron,
And is
Heather,
there a slide that has our-
Pauline, anybody out there have any questions for us before we wrap it up?
Well, you guys can reach out to the Wise Beck. You can chat to them, the people that helped give you access to this. If you want to connect with anyone here individually to go through more of a deeper dive for free, we're all here. We can all help you out if you want to be guided through some of these things. So by all means, you'll get access to this presentation. All of our emails and phone numbers are there. And thanks a lot,
Thanks,
everybody
guys.
here, for all your time. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
And thank you for
Good luck.
small business.
Good luck growing your businesses.